Welcome to Rapportkommentarer Direkt. With me on Skype from England, I've got the CEO of Paxman, Richard Paxman. Welcome back, Richard.
Hi, pleased to speak with you again.
And once again, congratulations to a strong quarter with sales amounting to 22.8 million Swedish kronor and an overall strong year of growth for Paxman. Are you pleased with the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we are pleased with the fourth quarter. I think a question maybe some of our shareholders and stakeholders may be asking is why was there no growth from Q3 to Q4? I think the best thing is to look at, well, let's look at overall growth. So 47% growth from 2018, which is impressive. We had a really strong Q3. So actually keeping that consistency there, I'm still very pleased with. You will have seen our sort of negative Forex movement discussions for that quarter, which was a bit frustrating for us. But going forward, we're looking at different mechanisms to try and prevent that and make sure that we've got some stability with our Forex movement going forward. So all in all, we are pleased with our performance. Again, as well, look at EBITDA. So if we look at our EBITDA for the period of 2019 versus 2018, it's significant. So 7.1 million SEK EBITDA, which is a good start.
So leaving numbers behind, what would you say have been the most significant events during the past quarter?
Significant events for me include our Argentinian approval, and it was great to get some new PSCS systems out into that market. I'm excited about what we can do in Latin America, and hopefully those will start to be used throughout 2020 and show some further growth in that market and other markets in that region. We also had an interesting new investor from Bank Invest, which is great to add to our shareholder list, so really pleased with that. But in all, overall, I think just the continued growth in our US traction, but also rest of world interest, so that maintenance of growth, which is great.
Speaking about the United States, it reached new record level in January. What's your thoughts on your future business activities there?
January was a great start to the year for the US, which I'm very pleased with. And February is continuing the same trend, which is important. We have an ambitious year ahead for the US market in not only utilization, but also continued investment into new assets or new scalp coolers throughout the US. You'll have seen our new funding provided by Sparbanken, which is excellent, shows the support we have from our bank. So that will continue to allow us to invest heavily into that market from a capital equipment point of view. So I'm very excited about what we'll do in the US this year. I think not only the US, you'll have seen a press release that we launched a couple of days ago or last week, it may have been, time flies. Equipment into the Royal Marsden, for example, 16 systems there. I believe those were commissioned this week and already training the staff on our new equipment, but 10 systems to Italy. So it's not just the US. I think we started the year as we mean to go on in all global markets.
Exciting. And last time we spoke, I asked you about your operation in South Africa, and you said things were happening a little bit slower than what you were expecting, but you were still positive. What's your outlook on South Africa now?
So our outlook still remains positive. No major movements to the beginning at the end of last year, start of this year, which I hadn't really expected. But the feedback is positive. We've got a couple of systems out there on trial with good results. So all in all, I'm expecting, later on in the year to see some positive movements. It's an interesting market for us. So I believe we've got the right partner, a company called Pharmacentrics out in that market. They also represent Oncotype DX, so they have some very good and strong relationships across South Africa. So if they can do it, if they can't do it, then no one will. But I'm very positive about their activities.
And you also mentioned that you were launching a clinical pioneer program in the United States. How's that coming along?
So we launched our clinical pioneer program last year in Boston, which was a huge success. And that's allowed us now to look at rolling that out throughout the US. So we're going to plan that quarterly. In fact, next week, we've got our UK team and our US team in Washington, DC. So that will be our second Clinical Pioneer program. And we've got delegates, medical professionals, so a real mixture of stakeholders from Virginia and Maryland. So all over those two states that are coming together and going through that program. We're also launching an evening event at the British Embassy at the ambassador's residence on one of the evenings as well, and inviting a few key stakeholders to that event, and in collaboration with Capital, which is one of the foundations who helps support cancer patients in that particular area. So a real mixture of stakeholders, and again, I think it's going to be a very strong program for us in identifying scalp cooling champions.
Let's talk a little bit about financial goals. And the last time we spoke about Paxman's long-term financial goals was in August last year. And back then they were at a level of 25% growth annually, which you have exceeded by far. Can we expect an update on these goals anytime soon?
So we won't be putting particular goals into our, as you've seen, into our Q4 report. But we are confident about our growth and our ability to continue to grow. I think the reality is when you look at cancer incidence, when you look at where we're installed, even now, utilization is relatively low and there's so much of a market to go at. So there's no reason why we cannot continue to maintain strong levels of growth. I'm not sure at what percentage, but I'm confident in achieving growth.
My final question then is, what are you focusing on this quarter?
So focusing really for this quarter, I think much of the same, I guess. So still investment into the US market. It is our number one market at the moment. That not only includes installing new equipment, which we will be doing throughout this quarter, but it's very much working still on reimbursement. We've got some great discussions ongoing. But it still takes time, and those range from commercial payers to government payers. And in addition to that, I think ramping up our activities overseas. And we've got a really strong March conference season. So all over the place, really, from America to Europe, really supporting and building on that awareness for scalp cooling. What we also have this quarter to launch is our new website, which we're very, very excited about. And that's really putting the patient at the center of all this and making sure that they get the right information when they need it and really have supportive tools for those patients. And we're excited about launching that in March.
I see. So those were all the questions that I have for you this time, and thanks for answering them, and I wish you good luck for the future.
Well, it's been a pleasure to speak to you and look forward to the next time.